Okay, so the commands you're about to see work in Google Sheets as well as Excel. So if things look a little different, you should be able to do the same thing that we're doing here. So what we're going to want to do is fill out this contingency table. But the problem is there's three separate things we're trying to keep track of. A person's marital status. We need the race of the person to be set to black in the spreadsheet, so we could try sorting by one. But obviously that there'd still be other things we have to sort by. We have to sort by marital status, and we have to sort by whether they said yes, no, or not applicable to being in prison or jail. So there's actually a really quick function to figure this out. What you should do is get yourself a column right to the left of, just get a blank column where we can calculate some numbers. Okay, and so let's say we want to fill out this first part of the spreadsheet, that a black individual said yes to being in prison or jail, and their parents' marital status was separated. Let me zoom in so you can see this a little better. Okay, so we find an empty cell. We're going to type equals, and then the command is count ifs, plural, COUNTIFS. And what this does is it lets you count up the number of cells that meet a certain criteria. And we can put in multiple criteria. If we have just one criteria, it'd be count if. But since we have multiple criteria, we're using count ifs. And the way it works is that you give the information in pairs. Okay, so like the first thing I want to do is, for this, I'm looking for a person that said yes to being in prison or jail. So I'm going to tell Excel to look in the column, well now it's column C, so C:C tells it to look in this entire column, and depending on, you might have shifted the data set around, yours might be column B still, might be column F, just whatever column you want to search for comes first, then put a comma, and then you tell Excel or Google Sheets what you're trying to search for. So I want to search for quote YES, end quote. The capital Y, lowercase e, lowercase s is important there. So now Excel, Google Sheets, it's going to search this entire column C for the response yes, and it's going to count them up. But we also need it to meet some other criteria. We also need to search for where their marital status, well actually which one comes first here in this sheet? The race of respondent is column H, so I want to search column H. So H:H, comma, and then I want to put in quotes black with a capital B, lowercase l-a-c-k. This will search this entire column H that's highlighted with the purple here, and it'll count up the number of times a person has listed their race as black, and I've said yes to the question of being in prison or jail. And then put a comma. The last part here, we've taken care of the race, we've taken care of being in prison or jail. Now marital status needs to be separated for this cell. So we're going to scroll over a bit. The marital status is column O, so I'm going to put O:O. Now it's highlighted that marital status column. And so put a comma. You've told it which column to look for. Now you need to say what it needs to search for. So put in quotes separated. And it's got to look exactly like what you see in this spreadsheet. So capital S, lowercase for the rest of the letters. Okay, we have everything. And I know that took a while, but we'll be able to just do some slight editing to get the rest of the values for this column. Look, it's going to search column C for the response yes, so that means it's going to only count up the people who have said yes to being in prison or jail. It's going to only count up people who have listed their race as black, and it's only going to count up the people that have said their parents are separated. If you hit enter, there are 2 respondents that met that criteria, so we're going to put a 2 here. And then to do the rest of the separated column, look, you can just copy this, maybe put it in another cell if you want, and now we want to find out the number of persons that said no that were black and that were who listed their parents as being separated. So we just need to change this yes to no, hit enter, and it's already searched the entire spreadsheet and found our criteria. There are 8 people that said no to being in prison or jail, whose parents were listed as separated, and whose marital status was black. And then not applicable, same type of thing. You can just find another empty cell and change yes. We want to search this column, being in prison or jail. We want to say not applicable. And there, I don't know why I went over there, but there were 3 people that met that criteria. Okay, I'll help you get started with this next one, then you can repeat the process to fill out the rest of the table. Okay, married. So let's see, we can actually just use the same Excel line that we just wrote. For the first part of married, we want to find the persons that said yes to being in prison or jail. They were black and they were married. So right now our formula says yes to being in jail. It says the person was black, and we don't want separated as marital status, we want married. That's the key word to search for there. And so there are 15 individuals that met that criteria. So we put 15 in this cell. And then you can repeat that process, just change the yes to a no, change the no to not applicable, and you can fill all the rest of those out. Okay, so count ifs. It works by taking information in pairs. You tell it the column and the thing you want out of that column. We wanted the prison or jail column, and we wanted the response yes. Then it takes another pair, separated by commas, right? It takes the column H, race of respondent, and we wanted when they responded saying black, okay, because we were looking for all black respondents. And then the third column we wanted to search for, we wanted to search the marital status, and we want people that said married to that response. So you can message me through Schoology if you're still having trouble with this. I'd be happy to help, but hopefully that helps you fill out this table.